Hello and welcome to Sunday Funday. I am so excited. I have somebody iconic. I'm trying not to cry. Um,
Qué linda.
so welcome, Sara Contreras.
Hey, how are you, man?
Oh my God, this is like a dream because trying not to get emotional.
You're getting for clamps? No.
Because this woman, let me introduce my story with her and everybody else in my audience. In 2007, I will never forget, I think I was living in Vegas. I remember there was the Latin divas of comedy. And I remember, and word for word, I've remembered your whole act through this day.
Wow.
Everything from the cigarettes to the cereal.
Right, you got to get the pack of Newports.
Your wife, because it's YouTube. We have your daughter, and she's good looking. You're gonna do corn. Like I remember everything.
Wow, I'm really flattered. Holy cow, this is amazing.
I have remembered this act just like and again, the only person I could compare you to in my mind is George Carlin, because I remember a lot of his stuff, because you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
When I first saw you, I've always loved comedians. I never wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be like a Lorne Michaels, a Johnny Carson.
Behind the scenes.
I wanted to be a producer, and I love comedians and all that. But you were somebody because I related so much to you.
Thank you so much. I really, wow. That is amazing. Like, I've heard people say things to me that I'm like, oh my God, but this was really an extremely high compliment, because George Carlin was someone who I was floored by as a kid, who was so smart, and his writing was amazing. So that company is now. Yeah. Pressure. Now I gotta be like, okay, I gotta keep writing that kind of stuff. So
I remembered a lot of his acts, and then when I saw you, I was like, wow. And I remember the whole, like, not the whole act, like I could do it, but the jokes.
Yeah.
And
well, I have to tell you, we taped that in LA, right outside of LA. And I remember that, when I used to go to LA, because we taped that in 2007. So I had already been doing comedy about 10, 12 years. And I went to California, and it was always so wonderful.
Oh, I lost you. Oh, I lost your sound.
And I went out there. Oh, honey, I'd be careful with the speakers, babe. And I remember I went out there, and it was wonderful how well received I was. Wait, I think I'm on mute, baby. ¿Tú me oyes?
I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you. Now I can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So the point was that it was an audience that was very, very mixed, and they got it. Like the comedy was such that Latinos from other backgrounds and everybody understood the story that I told, because it was, it's everybody's experience as a Latino, having the situations with your kids and all the stuff that I talked about. So it was really, really wonderful. I remember when we did that taping, I was nervous about it, and I went out there, and it was like, go ahead. Yes, they got it. And I got so much love. It was just amazing.
Wow, that was great.
We premiered that in 2008 in California, in LA. And then that same year, we got nominated for an Alma Award.
Wow.
That was nice. The first all-female comedy special to be nominated in that way. We're up against George Lopez. I think he won that year. Wonderful, the competition. But to standing on that same, we actually flew out there, and I did a presentation. We presented to Edward James Olmos, as the three of us went up there and on stage like presenters. I've never seen it. I've never seen that show. If anybody can get me that 2008 Alma Awards, the Latin Divas presenting to Edward James Olmos. That would be amazing.
It might be on YouTube if you go searching
Yeah,
for
I
it.
bet you I can. Yeah, that's my tech support with benefits. I'll let him take
It's always good too.
technology things. It's better now. That's why just now I saw something happening. Y rapidito me paniqué. That's like my MO. Oh my God, I did something wrong, right? You saw the
Right.
panic, right?
Yeah. So
I
tell
really
me,
appreciate
how
that.
was it even before that when you first started? Because that was the first time I saw anybody that was similar to me. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So that was a very big thing because growing up, you know what I mean? I was saying earlier, who I saw was just Joan Rivers as a
So
comedian.
true.
And it
And
was
on television, we had like I'm, from the 60s. I remember this. We had, the whole Goldie Hawns and, Carol Burnett. We had Lucy. And I always say Lucy was the only one because she was Cuban by injection, right? So she was one of ours. We own Lucy. We own, we honor her.
yeah.
But yeah, we didn't see it either. And so when I started doing comedy in 1995, and I started late in the business because I was already, knee deep into another career. I was in my late 30s when I started. And I had just broken up my marriage. So it was like the timing of it was crazy that it was coinciding where something was dying and this new thing was being birthed. And in New York, I can count on one hand how many Latina comics there were. Never mind Boricua, Cuban, and Mexican, any other ethnicity. There was none.
There was none.
There were few, let's put it that
Uh-huh.
way. But Peaches Rodriguez has always been in the game, ella mexicana. And then Janice Garcia was performing back then, but there were not a lot of comics. So I kind of burst on the scene and I won my very first time on stage. I did a funniest teacher contest and I won that night. So it's just like, oh, okay, I obviously can do it. So I got up on stage, bien brava, and I just went up there and took care of it. And I won. And then just things started happening really, really quickly for me. So I was given the opportunity to be on a lot of New York club stages. And then people wanted me to be with like on produced shows. So like, and then the 90s became this birth of Latino comedy in New York. Lots of shows with Jack Daniels, sponsorships, and just shows all over the city. So I was a part of that. I came in, the timing was good because that was when there was this real focus on diversity in the audiences. So I benefited from that. And then, like I said, it just started to snowball. And by 97, I started in 95, 97, I did my very first TV taping for CTV, a show called Funny is Funny. And I was flown out and he taped it. So within 2 years, an agent, almost to management and taping on television. So I was very, very lucky. I went in there and it was like, I didn't have to do a lot of, let's say, open mics and things like that. It moved very quickly for me. I was very, very.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm.
And because now a lot of stuff is diverse, but some people don't like that.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what happened when I auditioned at the comic strip.
Uh-huh.
I was told, "You're hilarious. Definitely will pass you, but you're too ethnic.
Oh,
You shouldn't necessarily rely on your stories to move the audience. Talk about topics." And meanwhile, the show that I had worked on, there were two comics who were Jewish who went on and on about
right,
Jewish ethnicity.
right,
I was
right.
being told I was too ethnic. So it's always been something where I struggled so much to find my voice by allowing other people to get in my head about whether my material was right or whether someone was going to pick me up, whether someone was going to, if you're going to be noticed doing this material. So I've always been someone that played with a lot of different types of material. And that's been a struggle. I finally feel like now I'm finding my voice, the real strength of, what I want to say. But the divas, I was extremely proud of. I mean, I knew I had already arrived if I was picked, handpicked to do this show with these other four amazing comedians.
Did that lead to more opportunity after the divas or?
Yes. After the divas, you know what happened with the divas?
Uh-huh.
We didn't have the benefit of social media. It came out
Oh,
before social media became this beast of networking and promotion and production and exposure, and now, back then it didn't matter if you had 1,000, 100,000 followers. There was really no such thing except for YouTube and
Right.
say MySpace, and it was just a different beast. Whereas
Right.
now you put something on the internet and you could be a star in 6 months and get your stuff out there and get your material. And if you have more followers, sometimes it's more followers versus talent. Like I see people who just get stuff and I'm like, whoa, because they have a certain amount of followers. So
Oh, yeah. Yes.
it's a
Yes.
different game, So I did get other, I've done a lot of Law and Orders. I got more auditions after that. People were interested in me as an actress. I did get more work and more exposure from that.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's really great to hear. But
And it's still on Amazon. You
wow.
can still access it. There was a while there when it was on Hulu. It's never stopped being in rotation. Like every once in a while, we're watching TV and all of a sudden it's in Amazon and there's our picture right on the screen. My granddaughter loses her mind. Oh my God, Gigi, it's you. I'm like, that's what I look like at one time. But it does. It was on Hulu for a minute and it's still on Amazon. So
Right. There are different clips on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. So it has staying power. And what's happened now is I have a wonderful husband and he became my manager and my tech support with benefits. So he's the one who got me on TikTok. And now this is a whole new audience.
That's how I found
younger.
you. Yes. That's how I found you. And I was surprised. I had one TikTok. Unfortunately, I lost it because TikTok can be weird. So I found you one day and I was like, oh, wow. And I used to do this show on my Instagram. But the trouble is you don't, because I get actually paid on Instagram, but I was like, let me move this over. Let me go in studio. Let me make some money off my passion, what I want to do. So I found you. That's how I originally found you. And I was like, wow. And I followed you. And I think you did come to New York, but every time I was going to go to one of your shows.
I remember we talked about it, right? Yeah, but he got me on TikTok because at that point, look, this is what I was doing. This is what I was saying. Eso para los nene. That's for the kids. That's not. And he was like, where is your head if you think that you're not going to have to embrace TikTok and social media?
Yeah.
So he went in and set me up and did everything and, set me up and started doing the videos. And all of a sudden the numbers, I'm having all these new audiences, which is fantastic because I'm getting younger people going, oh my God, who are you? Even though you're so much older, I can relate to your stories and I get it. Like I totally understand it. So that I'm very happy about having a new audience. And this last tour opening for El Gran Combo, that did a lot in terms of exposure. And, I've been around, but it's like I got a new audience now as this opening act. I just came back from Puerto Rico and there are some bugs in Puerto Rico that suck the life out of me. I am scratching.
So now you live in Puerto Rico or where?
Well, I have two properties. I bought in 19. My mom passed away in 15 and I had a huge reset, reboot where I needed something that connected with her. I missed her so much and the grief was so intense that I made a promise that I was going to go back to Puerto Rico. Like I want to retire there. I want to connect. So I was there in the right time and I bought a condo and then I bought a house. So I have that property and then I have a house here. So I just go back and forth and I just started Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I also saw your TikTok about IKEA when you had the issues at IKEA, remember?
Girl, we're still trying to find Rosa Perez. Oh. This chick is hard to find.
I even shared it because I was like, because this is the thing. I kind of I wanted you kind of inspired me that I want to go back and buy my mother's side of the family. They're all from Puerto Rico. My father's Cuban. And I have some Tajino in me too, as well. And when you were saying we need to buy back our land, and I went on Zillow and I saw the prices of rentals now in Puerto Rico. This is a shame though. This is really sad because
if you're going to do it, mamita, do it quickly because we were lucky. We came in and I mean, lucky in the sense that the hurricane happened in 19.
Mhm.
So, there was this sort of depression in the prices. So it helped us a little bit. Sadly, obviously, I don't want that to happen to Puerto Rico again.
Right.
But the timing is everything. And it was fortuitous that I bought when I bought, and then I bought again this last year. We just came back. I'm literally like, we just got in today.
Oh, okay. So you're in New Jersey right now.
Right. So I'm in Jersey now. I'm in my
Okay.
little home office, and
Okay.
we're setting up the second place now. So I have a 2-bedroom condo. Look at me pitching. I have a 2-bedroom condo with a fabulous view. It's really beautiful. And then I have a 3-bedroom house that we're preparing now to Airbnb. It's a nice place because it's right by the marina, by the rainforest, and by all the islands. So
Right.
people come out on the weekends. It's really festive.
Oh, nice. Now, are you performing in Puerto Rico?
Well,
Doing-
we've been setting up a lot of different locations. And what happens in Puerto Rico is, and this is what a lot of the different promoters tell me, they don't know me in Puerto Rico yet. So I'm trying to do more work with like the radio stations and the TV stations to get exposure. And this way, like to get on a couple of the shows to start getting a presence out there so that they will get people to come out to the shows. But the University of Puerto Rico is interested in producing my one-woman show, which is fabulous. But again, the same issue, we have to do a lot of promotion first, get me out there doing the radio stations, doing the television, booking the shows, and then, really making a big show of that production. And the El Gran Combo Tour helped a lot with that. That definitely opened up, the avenues for me to meet new people. And that's what I've been working on. Every time I go out there, I shake hands, I meet more people, I make more contacts, and then boom, I'm hoping that, springish. Well, I mean, we're still in winter. So yeah, things will start happening soon out there. I'm confident that it's going to start happening soon.
How is it being in Puerto Rico now? Like when you do go over there, how is living over there? How is really the island?
It's, I call it like the island life, right? It's slower. You have to be very patient. You cannot walk up in there like a New Yorker. I'm sorry, I've been here an hour. Like, what do you mean I have to come back next week? You have to be real patient because it's just, that's the way it's done. So It's not up to me to walk in there and say, no, you're going to do it now, So you have to reboot yourself and you have to reset yourself. And una paciencia. You have to just be like pins and needles and pins, like whatever it is that you need to get you through that moment, because you could really, you can jump at somebody's throat out there real easy. Didn't I tell you? And that's what's happening with IKEA. I did a kitchen in 2019. Do you know I have kitchen cabinet lights that have not turned off in 2 years? They run constantly.
24/7.
24/7. So that's extra that I'm paying on.
And was it Rosie, right? You said is the one that's responsible.
Rosa Barreto.
That you still can't. I'll never forget that TikTok.
We still can't find her. She doesn't call back. She doesn't email. And there's no way when you ask someone, well, give me her information. They go, oh no, you can't reach her that way. Well, then which way would you homing pigeon? Like, what do we
have you, you know what I've noticed with my IG, I'm verified, and I know that the only good thing about being verified on IG I could say is because everybody thinks it's a big deal, but I'm broke underneath. You know what I'm saying? Like all that blue chip does is just if I have a complaint and I tag a place, then they react.
It has clout.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could say.
No.
I'm gonna have to say, hey, where's the I'm gonna have to make a clip myself and tag a Kia and be like
please
a Kia in Puerto Rico.
Poncho, Rosa Barreto. Now what I did was I submitted something to Telemundo.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to see if they pick it up because they have a department that deals with consumer fraud and consumer complaints. So it was like, look, I'm the Latin diva of comedy. And I want to know, like Carmen San Diego. Or where's Aldo? Like, where's in the world? Barreto? I want to set one up like that.
Where is she?
I don't know. I did contact them to see if they would take an interest in this case because it's outrageous. this is 3 years now. And I have the emails, I have the text messages, I have all the background to show that I've done my part, and they just don't want to come back and do it because they did an improper installation. Twice, by the way.
Twice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been
And
frustrating.
usually IKEA is pretty good.
Yeah. I have
But-
had kitchen. I've had a kitchen here. This is my second IKEA kitchen. That's what I mean about Puerto Rico.
Okay,
Beautiful country. I love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is in my veins.
right.
But when I think about moving out there, I know that there are so many things that make it prohibitive. The healthcare, they don't take insurance, right? So if you don't have, they don't take your personal, I've never known anybody who's told me that they were able to use their insurance out there. So you don't want to get sick in Puerto Rico because you got to fly right back. The taxes are very, very high out there. And it's all, the relationship that Congress has with Puerto Rico is really, really, really bad. And so, it's up to Congress. We can't do anything until we have the laws changed at that level. But 11.5 sales tax, extremely difficult austerity acts where schools were closed, hospitals were cut back, a minimum wage that's even lower than in the States,
Right.
with an 11.5% sales tax.
Right.
So,
And I wonder because like on Zillow, I look, I used to live in Los Angeles and I look sometimes like the price of LA, and then I'll look like, just because I'm nosy like that. And I see how expensive it is. And I'm like, the jobs I know don't compare. Who the hell is going over there? What are they doing? They're really gentrifying Puerto Rico now.
It's shifting. A lot of people are leaving. Boricua are leaving. They can't sustain that life unless it's something that, hay gente que there's people that are up in the mountains and they have a way, they farm their own crops and seriously live off the land, but that's up in the mountains. What about everywhere else?
Right.
So it is changing. You see it, you feel it, you see it on the airplanes. I remember telling Alex, I never used to remember tanta gente blanca, white people coming in like a clown car. Whoa, another white person. Oh shit, another.
They're gringos like
white people. And nothing against them, but it's like, it wasn't like that when I was a kid. When I was a kid, nobody was interested in it the way that they're interested in it now. So it's good, but it's bad. And it's bad for the people that are there. It's good for the people that are coming with money that can invest. And I'm not a big investor. I am not going to be lumped up with these people that are buying $1 million and $2 and $3 million properties and taking over the beaches. I despise that. But unfortunately, the people that live on the island sometimes lump you up with that type of situation. So we do get a lot of push. I get funky stuff sometimes. Like, oh, but that's what happens. What did they call me the other day? Not an invader. I forgot what the word was, but it was suggestive of the fact that since I wasn't born and raised on the island, I couldn't speak on the things that are going on there. And I'm like, that's a really piss poor attitude, honey, because if you want things to change on the island, you got to get everybody talking about it.
Right.
Here,
Yes, you got to get everybody.
In the Dominican Republic and in England and whoever is wants to fuss about it.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you effectuate change, So it's interesting. It's been a really, really eye-opening experience owning out there. And, we go out there pretty often. We go out there like every 6 weeks. We'll stay for a week or two. We want to start going more often, but I still have, I have a lot of responsibilities here. I have these we have 5 grandkids between the two of us.
5 grandkids. Wow.
Yeah. And we just have so
and
much
so
fun.
your granddaughter calls you Gigi, but not Abuela, right?
No, I don't know why. I wish I knew where I had started it. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? Because of how we were raised.
Yes.
I think that abuela is like a dirty word for vieja.
Exactly.
And that's not happening today.
No, my mother had my kids call her Lela.
Yeah, Lela. I wish I had done something more in the abuela. You know what? My grandson's other grandma, he calls his grandma Nena, which I love.
Oh,
it's just cute. He calls her Nena. But yeah, so I have 3 grandkids. So that's another reason for me, like if I retire out there, it will be down the road because I have to be able to come back here and spend time with those kids.
Right.
Just bundle them up in the summers and take them out there with me.
Oh,
And
that would be good.
yeah, that would be dope. But right now, what I'm trying to do is put the finishing touches on my one-woman show. I
Okay.
wrote a show about aging, about my generation, which is Generation Jones, which a lot of people don't know is a subdivision of the baby boomers. So I think it's let's see, it's like 64 is the youngest baby boomers. I think it goes from 54 to 64. Those last 10 years are called Generation Jones because it's a generation of people that is very different from the ones who came before. So let's say anybody like over 72 to 79, their thinking is somewhat different, let's say, than ours, my generation, que somos más moderno, you know, we're a little bit more modern. We're holding on to, we have that connection to the other previous generations, and we identify with a lot of that. Whereas the older ones don't. They see themselves, you know, this is who I am. And we're more the ones that are like, no, we're not going to be defined by those old attitudes and stereotypes and considerations of the elder, you know, older and elderly. You know, we're elderly considering, right?
Right.
But I don't feel that way.
No, you seem very young. And then I saw you in the bikini, and I saw you in Puerto Rico in the bikini and your post, and I was like, wow.
My honey likes that tape. Every chance he gets to put it back up, he puts it back up. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. I have to.
You look amazing.
Thank you. And you know, that's one of the things that I talk about in the show, how people say, oh, age ain't nothing but a number. And I say, even that is wrong. Your age is two numbers. One is your chronological, right? That stubborn little number on your birth certificate that you can't say anything about.
Oh, yeah.
Second one is, I think, the more important one, which is your biological age, your subjective age. And that's a composition of you. So that it's going to be like how you're aging and the quality of your cellular structure and function. And a doctor usually looks at that by looking at, like, you know, blood pressure and all these other markers like, you know, cholesterol and all this other stuff. The biological age, you can be 10, 15 years younger biologically. Si tú te cuidas, if you take care of yourself, you could, you know, you're not going to reverse the clock, but you're just slowing it down a little bit in terms of how fast you fall apart.
Right. Like, which I had 2 drinks the other night. And the next day I said, this is ridiculous. I'm not even getting drunk. I can't even handle myself anymore. It's just 2 drinks. And the next day, and I felt like,
it's something you have to think about.
Oh, and then now I'm always with the water.
Good for you. I'm so mad because I left this beautiful tumbler, like blingy ones. I left it in Puerto Rico. I'm so annoyed. And you know what my boo did? My boo is so good. He knows how much I love it because I don't drink enough water, but that's making me drink it. He ordered me another one. He said, just in Puerto Rico. I was like, oh, you're so wonderful.
Oh, good. Nice.
So that's what I talk about in the show. But it's funny. It's funny, but I try to also.
When are you having any upcoming dates, and where exactly will you be appearing?
February 3rd, I'm at, that's next Friday. I'm at the Bergen Pack in the Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood, New Jersey. And then February 10th, I am at, oh God, I don't remember the name of the club, but I am in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Doing a really fun show with a bunch of really funny Latinos. I'm excited to be on that.
Yeah,
show.
I saw that because and I was looking, I was like, how can I get down there?
That's going to be a great show. That's Imagine, who is hilarious. Roberto Vanderpool is hosting it. Joey Vega and me. That's tight, man. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but I haven't seen the flyer. That's a good show. That's a Boricua. I mean, it's going to be funny anyway, but particularly if you're Puerto Rican, they should come out to that. Because that's just like when I perform with an audience, like with El Gran Combo, when I was doing those shows, it was a mixed, you know, obviously we had a lot of representation in Central and South America. But when you get a show that's mostly Boricua, oh my God, those are the best, totally the best shows. And it feels like you're hanging around playing cards or hanging out in your house and you're just throwing down like you normally do with family. And you got that one really stupid family member that just keeps everybody cracking up. That would be me, just acting stupid and relajando mucho. But I love, like, much like you, I am, and and was a fan of comedy before I started. So I just think that, and a lot of people, even El Gran Combo said to me, tú eres brava. Tú te tiras, tú te paras allá afuera solita.
Uh-huh.
They were like, we up here, there's 13 of us. You are the first person that goes out, tú eres brava. There's thousands of people waiting to see what's going to happen next. The lights go out. And you're the one that goes out there and takes them to this joyous place where now they're ready to start listening to some music. And I felt so good. I felt like, wow, I guess I am, because I did do that.
You got it in you. You've got
And
it
I
in
did
you.
it 10 times. The first 8 shows, they asked me to just do like 20 minutes up front. And then the band came on. So I was done for the night. But usually I was backstage dancing my ass off. I lost so much weight for that concert because it was just every night just dancing, because I'm a salsera. I love salsa. That's why getting this gig it's still crazy to me that I got it, because I love salsa and I love them. And that they handpicked me to be their host. Like, it's like, oh my God.
Nice.
And then the last 2 shows, they said, rather than have a host come in, would you consider hosting it? I'm like, whatever you need. I'm one of those people, you tell me jump, I go, how high? If that's what the show needs, I'll do it. And they said, well, it's different because you're not going to do like a 25-minute segment. You're going to do 5 minutes. Then we got to set up for the second band. Then you're going to do another 5 minutes. So it's different. There's like, you got to do it. You got to be like that. You got to hit hard in a very short amount of time. And it's hard. And guess what, honey? I went out there and it was like, pow, pow, pow. And then I got off, and then they came back. And then, after the band start, you're doing your performance with all of this going on in the background. And, that could be super, super distracting. And I just got into it and had fun. And the audiences were wonderful. If anybody was at that show and you're on here today, thank you. At any of those shows, mil de gracias. You guys were awesome. It was just the most exciting experience of my life in terms of performing as a comedian. The only other thing that came close was when I performed in Iraq, but it was different.
How was that? And when was that? Tell me about that.
That was in 2011. I had gone out to LA to do a series of shows. And I get a phone call from Rudy Moreno in LA, and he says, listen, they're auditioning for a 5th person to go on this tour to Iraq. And I gave them your name. They wanted a Latina. So I immediately gave them your name. They came to see me the next night. And they went to see me in a club that a lot of people said to me, I don't remember the name of the club. They were like, yo, that club is gangster. That's a ghetto ass club. You better go in there hard because they'll boo your ass. I was like, oh my God. And guess what? I had a great set. I had a great set. I tell you, California's always been good to me. Great set. And the woman came over and said, do you want to go to Iraq next month? I was like, hell yeah, that was an experience of a lifetime. So we flew out. It was Nikki Carr, this amazing, she was on Last Comic Standing. And Carmen, oh God, I'm so annoyed. Carmen, it'll come to me. Oh, she's going to be so mad I'm blanking out, but I'm tired, Carmen. I love you, mamita, but I am just tired from it. And April Macy. And we just went out there. Carmen, I swear to God, I'll remember your name. I'm just blanking out right now. So we toured, and it was called Not That Time of the Month Tour. So it was all women, and it was amazing. I mean,
so this was for the soldiers and for everybody.
We were at war. Like, this was when we were at war. So that was the thing they said to us. They said, you have to be prepared. It's not just there's no glamour in this. You got to come ready to pack at 4:00 in the morning, if that's when they said the helicopter's going to the next base. So like, bring your boots, if you want to look cute. We were all very, very girly on stage, but when we were not on stage, we were like ready to, we had the backpacks, we had to wear Kevlar, and we had to wear the helmets. What happened? Oh, thank you. So it was, and like I said, we were on military helicopters. So we're riding and they had
Uh-huh.
these gigantic, like the big ass guns on the side there. And we're sitting there. I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. But I was so nervous, but it was so exciting. Like I trust the Army. They were not going to let us down.
Right, right, right.
Woo, it was, I remember one time we were supposed to leave and we were all ready and we kept waiting and we're like, what happened? And they were like, incoming. And I'm like, we're waiting for an email? This is stupid. They were like, no, a missile in there, not an email.
Oh
Like
my
that,
God.
shooting at the base. So it was fun. It was, I can tell you, I got back and it was that and this concert are in the same category of, yeah.
Wow.
You
Now,
know,
when you started, when you were young, were you with your children? How old were your children when you first started?
my daughter was 5 and my son was
Okay.
11. So it was very demanding. And right after I started, my ex-husband and we were in the midst of the divorce and the separation. So it was grueling. It was
Mhm.
very contentious. And I got 2 big opportunities to go out, but I had to move to California. And that meant
Mm,
not taking my kids. So I passed.
right.
And, every once in a while, I wonder if I'd had the mansion in the mountains of LA, if I had gone out there, because I was a real novelty. I was this, 37-year-old woman, I had a little look to me. I was a little
Mhm.
diesel. And I used
No,
to,
you were hot. You
man,
were,
mama, I went up on stage with crop tops. Like
know that if anybody sees you were a hot little thing. Yeah.
like with the 8-pack, like thinking that
Yes.
anybody's going to pay attention to the comedy when you go up like that. Like, the women aren't going to laugh, because then if they're with their man, they're like, and don't you laugh either. Oh, you think she's funny? Oh, you think she's funny? Like I put myself in a lot of situations sometimes, which it just showed how green I was.
Right.
You learn as you go along that, you got to focus on the comedy. And so I did have opportunities, and you prioritized. And for me, it
No,
was,
yeah, yeah, with your children, because both of my children now are over 18 and I'm now finally able to do me.
that's right. How
Yeah.
wonderful. So you have 2?
I have 2. I have an older one that's in law school and then a younger one that doesn't know what the hell she's doing, 18.
So
So
boy, girl?
girl.
Oh, 2 girls. Yeah.
2 girls. I never had a son, and now I realize, okay, that's kind of good. I didn't have a son.
Son
And
travieso. They're hard. I
there,
found boys, my son,
you found the boys are harder than the girls?
my son was first,
Uh-huh.
and both my kids were great children. They were wonderful, sweet, easy, but my son was very active. So that first child being so active, I did a lot of running around. I kept calling the school. Why did he come home so dirty? I didn't send him that dirty. And they would be like, yeah, because right after he finishes his work on the floor, like that was my son. He probably should have started in second grade. He was smart enough. He should have just gone right to second. And then I waited 6 years and had my daughter. And then my daughter, I think what happened with my daughter was that I was able to stay home
Mm.
15 months, those first 15 months. And my ex-husband and it was like probably the happiest time, because our roles were clearly defined. He went to work. I did my work at home. I took care of the house. The kids were clean. Dinner was on the table. We were happy. And then when I had to go back to work for pay, that's when everything really fell apart, because the demands just got to be so hard. And, if I hate that expression, working mom, because I just think it's a misnomer. All moms work.
Yes.
We do is work for pay when we go to a job.
Right.
I can't stand when people say, oh, she went back to work. No, she's been working, raising those kids.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
We have to watch what we say. And I
Right.
think we need to start training people to be better versed at describing what motherhood is,
Yeah.
Back to work. I've been working all this time. Now I'm just getting a check. You want to
Yeah.
see what I've been doing? Vamos a sacar cuenta. Yeah. Laundry, chauffeur, cook, tutor. I got to be hot mama at night. So let's put hoe. I got to be a little hoe too. No, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
If I'm
No, it
paying
is.
for that. Let's see how much it will cost you if you had
Right.
to pay somebody to do all that.
No, staying home. I never got the chance to stay home with either one of my kids. I'm hoping by the time I have grandkids at the right
Ready.
time, the right time, I hope the little one don't pop one out on me.
I
Then
know, I heard the hint there. I heard it. I heard it.
yeah, the little one, the older one is gay, and I'm kind of glad because I had her real young. I had her at 16 years old.
Wow.
But I was, when she came out gay, I was like, oh yes, I'm not gonna be in a abuela soon. I was so happy.
She doesn't want to have any,
What she
even with a donor. They're not thinking about that.
she has a partner now, and she will be a lawyer. And when they decide on that or get a donor or
She's
whatever,
young still, yeah.
that'll probably be easier than the little one. That's you know, like the
There's
little one.
only one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and they come out different kids.
Yeah, you know what? They're born with personalities. That's what I was saying before. Like my son was a smart, very smart, tested into gifted program. But another digo, he would come home, send him clean, and every day he was filthy. I'm like, why? What is he doing? Rolling around the hallways, like digging in the garbage cans? What? And smart, pero travieso. He was just that child, you know? And that was his personality, whereas my daughter was not like that at all. And, you know, like I said, I think a lot of it had to do with that I was calmer, I think, as a parent. I was able to really kind of just take that breath, because it just worked out that way, that I wanted that opportunity to stay home. I fought.
Oh, that's good.
Trust me, it wasn't anything that was.
Oh, wait, you had a fight. It was, yeah.
I had a fight. My ex-husband was the type that said, what do you mean you want to stay home? You can't get away with that. I can hear it.
Uh-huh.
I know exactly what was said. What do you think? You can't get away with that. Like I was somehow cheating the relationship and cheating the family, because as the mom and the one who carried this baby for 9 months, I wanted to just stay home. And I had always worked for pay, you know, even before I became a mom. I started working at 16, never stopped.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'd be nice. I just thought it'd be kind of different. And I loved it. I loved being home with the baby. I did not want to go back to work for pay. I loved being home. It was different. I'd always been a real woman. So now I had that. I felt like I had a really good balance. And no te digo, when I went back to my job, that was it. I went back in like 91 and we broke up in 95.
Oh, and then that's when you started the comedy.
And that's when I started the comedy. So now I became a single mom. I bought my third property, but I bought it by myself. The first one we bought together, the first 2 houses we bought together. But I was real proud that on my own, I was able to buy a house in Teaneck, Bergen County. I raised my 2 kids here, and then my husband moved in 5 blocks away.
Oh, God.
I had to see that. I used to get off the highway, watch. I pull up, you go straight, there's his house. I would make the right, and as soon as I was passing, I'd go. So mature.
No, I have an ex like that. My daughter's father, because she's staying right now with her father, and she goes, "Oh, you don't want to come over here because of my father?" And I'm like, "I'll get a room far away." Like,
and it's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. Listen, I admire people that are able to remain really good co-parents. It's not easy, but I also don't think it's that hard. I think that if you follow that go back to when before you became into a relationship when you were just friends, right? Like that part, if you can get back to that place again, it's easy. But oh God, I had it hard. I had it very hard.
Yeah, no. So when you tell me about now how you got your SAG card, because I'm always interviewing comedians, and I'm always telling them you need to get your SAG card. And I've noticed New York comics are different than LA comics. It seems like LA comics, they know, like, hey, I need that card because I get one commercial, I'm set for the year.
Yeah.
Like they get it. New York comics are like, no, I just want to do stand up. I just want to tour. And I'm like,
I know most of the people I have worked with have gotten SAG. I started booking Law and Order early.
Wow, that's good residual. I have my SAG card, by the way, so I know that. So
I got an early, and this was early. It's funny because most of what I've booked for television has been drama. I have yet to book anything.
Oh, and I've seen, I think it was the General Hospital.
Yes, All My Children.
Yes. Okay. All my children. I couldn't remember. I seen that, and you're very good actress.
Thank you. Thank you. I was proud of that scene. I was proud of
Yeah.
that scene. Yeah, but I had difficulty with one scene where, and I think they had it cut because I just didn't get it. Soap is very different. Soap is a beast completely onto its own. So like when you're taping something, you'll get some direction. They'll tell you, try this, move here, do that, whatever. Soap is fast. It is a different animal. So you have to know how to go like that kind of weird time. It felt so unnatural to me that I was having a real problem with it. Like they wanted the real reaction, like dun, dun, dun. That's not how people perform. So but I managed to get a couple of really great Law and Orders early on. Then I taped a couple of pilots, and then I did a show called Conviction. Then there was a fireman show. I'm terrible. I don't remember the name. And it was big, and I got a part on that. And I had to play a trustee bringing someone's food, a dirty cop that was in jail. And I was the trustee. I was like the prison. Nena, I always played a convict, a prostitute, a crackhead, because that's what they expect Puerto Ricans.
No, I know. That's I told somebody this. Because I do SAG work, and I'm trying to explain to them, because I'm Hispanic, I don't play like I'm in the Upper East Side. And they go, but you look white. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
that
But
casting
blanquita like me. Yeah.
yeah, they don't like the moment your name is not, this is
No.
where you go.
And you know what happens? You have the long, thick, beautiful Taino hair that I despise because I'm so jealous of. I'm kidding. I love you, dear.
Thank you.
But it was always like I had to be, they wanted Afro Latina.
Yes.
Like my hair was just too straight, whatever.
Right.
But back to SAG. So then I booked a couple of commercials. And so I got my SAG card. Oh, is that you or me?
That's probably me.
Okay. And so then I got my SAG card pretty soon because I started booking commercials also. I did a MasterCard commercial. I did a Bank of America when it was still PNC Bank. And I did I did something else. I don't remember, but I did a couple of commercials. So right away I had enough that I was able to get into SAG. So you have to book.
Yeah.
A lot of comics, this is what happens. They want to do the clubs. They want to do that. And I keep telling them, you have to book something. That's the way you get yourself out there. That's how you get noticed. That's how you get seen. You need a special. You need anything that puts you on television. I did a lot of television in the first, I would say the first 5-6 years. And it was a lot of cable. Because remember, I started in 95. TV.
Yeah, before Netflix.
I mean, it was there, but it wasn't what we have, this beast that is accessible now. It wasn't as accessible before. So there were tons. There was a channel called TNT, not TBS. There were a lot of different BronxNet, and there were a lot of local cable channels. So I was just booking and booking and booking and booking. And I was able to get the SAG card.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And AFTRA as well, the SAG AFTRA.
Yeah, when they combined, and me, I was AFTRA before, and then I got SAG, and I paid for SAG way back when, right? And then the following year they emerged together.
That's right.
And I was pissed. I was like, I just paid the SAG too. I think it was
that wasn't fair.
Yeah, I was like, I just paid that. I was living in Los Angeles at the time, but when I came to New York, I was able to get, and this was a big deal for me, I was able to get my insurance. And that was a very big deal for me.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I
went many years without it.
Right. And I tell, I've told a comedian that has a show in LA, and I go, hey, I just want my insurance. Just give me a day player. That's it. That's all I want. Like, I don't want no series. Just give me a couple day players. I'm cool. Get my insurance. I'm happy as hell.
It's a big issue with television, talking about representation. Again, I got cast, every single time I would get a part. And the one that has been the best, the most lucrative was a 2 episode arc. So it was the finale of the one season and then the premiere of the next one, which is what you want. You want a lot of words, you want a big part, and it pays fantastic. So in that one, I'm a mother of a criminal of course, because I'm Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
who's running an illegal brothel and an illegal daycare out of my house. Like, who writes this shit? Like,
Yeah, and they always do that to us. They
every
always,
time. And if I wanted to take a political stand, I could, and I'd never get work. And I remember I killed the audition because they wanted real hard. They wanted somebody hard as the mom. And so what I did was I had my daughter put tattoos all over my arms with ink. Oh my God, it took forever to take it out. I don't know why I did that. And I went in and I walked in character. But they already knew me at Law and Order. The casting person there knows me, Jonathan. So he called me up, and I went straight to director and producer. So I didn't have to go through callback, none of that. After the second one I taped, the third and fourth I got, because they knew me. So they like, come in, we think you're perfect for the part. Right. So I have these tattoos and I go in hard. I don't have any makeup on. My pelo was in a moño. I hadn't straightened it. I was looking raggedy, but I look cute. And I walked in and they said something to me. And I was like, yo, we're going to do this, motherfucker. We're going to do this. And they were like, oh, okay. I went right to it. I went to the scene, and it was a struggle scene with Ice-T. So I was making believe that, we were in it, and boom, and I was hard. And I knew I got it. So when I finished it, I'm all hard and everything. And then they were like, do you have any questions? I was like, no, that was a lot of fun. And my personality totally, they saw who I was.
They saw who you really were.
And I was like, oh no, thank you. That was so nice. Thank you so much. And when I go to leave, I think it was the director said to me, one question, are those real? I said, hell no, I did this for you. I said, I don't like any of this shit. I did this for the part. And that day they called me up and they told me I booked it.
Wow, that's a fantastic
Like I said, it just kills me that these parts are so stereotypical. Do I not look like I could be an attorney?
Yeah, and you know what? That's it. A lot of people I was getting a lot of stereotypical stuff. Now I finally get noticed as a nurse, which is good. The person I'm going to say right now that is changing things, believe it or not, is 50 Cent. All of the Power series.
His powers, yeah.
This is the thing when people say, what's that other guy that's in Atlanta? And I have to educate people on, because I worked at an agent's office too.
Tyler, you have a lot of experience.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to just pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I worked at the business. Right.
So I worked at an agent's office so I can understand. And Tyler Perry really undercuts people. But you know who's the producer? And people are not really realizing this. It is 50 Cent. All of his production, his Power, he's doing a hell of a lot of job.
I like his shows. I have to admit.
He is bringing in a lot of the Black and brown community. And he is in
roles that are substantial.
Right. Yes. He's doing attorneys, a hell of a job.
Agents, attorneys. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
He's showcasing minorities in a better light. And
yeah,
and then then the next minute he's clowning around on the internet. And I'm like, nobody knows how, I'm like, what is he doing? But nobody knows.
I think that's a really, really good point. And we need more of that. But
yes,
he had the money to create his own production company. Mm-hmm. And so he can support a lot of that. And unfortunately, nuestra gente, Latinos, they get to a place and they forget everybody who came behind them.
Yes.
They do. Yeah. I'm not gonna, who do you see the J-Los and the Mark Anthonys and who are they promoting as actors? Who are they bringing along? Or more importantly, the production studios. Even if you're not, promoting particular people, I remember, and I'm going to always say this, I'll say this, I'll take it to my grave. I remember when parts of Brooklyn and the Bronx were completely abandoned, all right, for this onslaught of gentrification. And then I would say before it got really hot, because it's been going on for a while. And there was a big piece of land that I said, coño, if these people individually, they could buy it. But even if they don't spend all their money on it, why don't they form some type of Boricua, Dominican consortium of moneyed people, buy this land, set up a huge production company there, and start to employ people from the area that now become the Emilio Estevez and the Gloria Estevez of Miami. What they did, we should have been able to replicate that in New York. There was a time when the land was there for the taking.
Right.
Now you can't go into South Bronx.
Mm-mm.
Have you been out here?
I've heard it's changed. And I can get into conspiracies because there's a fire all the time in the Bronx. It's just,
You know that.
oh yeah, we already,
We
yeah.
lived through that, right? So
Mhm.
the fact that there was this opportunity and no one seized on it, I think is sad because, you know, everybody's always talking about, oh, East Coast, West Coast. West Coast isn't making it happen. We're not doing it out here the way that we should.
Yeah.
But se necesita dinero. You need capital to be able to do that. You know, we can do that all the time, but until someone put like what Tyler Perry did, create a production company, you know, and then it just blossomed into this amazing tool for putting those stories out there. Our stories are not being put out there. We can write them, but until we have that vehicle, now I know that
I feel like 50 is kind of doing it.
he is. I agree.
He's the one on the East Coast that is doing it, and he's an amazing. I've been lucky where I've interviewed on my IG. I've been able to interview people that have worked. Everybody that works for him is class act.
You see?
Yeah, because I interviewed somebody in his marketing department. I've been over there to 50 Productions before, right there in Jersey, in Hoboken, and everybody associated. Whenever I've gone on his sets, just everybody
He knows how to hire talent.
Yeah, he knows how to hire talent, people,
put a team together,
and put a team. He really does, and nobody's.
And how about the actors? Oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah,
I stopped watching Power. I was watching it when it first was it called? Yeah, it was always called Power when it was the Latina FBI agent. That's what I remember. That's how far back I missed a couple of seasons there. I know the pandemic got me addicted to television. I can't stand it. I watched some. I never used to watch this much television. So I kind of like, I was like, no, I got to stop. I got to stop. I don't care if there's housewives in Dubai now. I can't watch this.
Oh, there's housewives in Dubai too. Yeah. I like.
I'm going back to the Miami one. I got to stop it. No, I got to read more.
Yeah. I hear you.
You know, I really think that there is a shift. And I know that John Leguizamo now is doing, has, I think, a deal with Walmart to try to produce something in entertainment. I'm not exactly sure. I read it very briefly. And I know that he's working with this company, NGL, and they're trying to put forth more Latino programming and create Latino channels where we have our own channels for the shows that we want to tell, and we write our own stories.
Right. That's what I'm trying to do with my podcast. Trying to produce some stuff myself.
Yeah. And I think it's ready to be done. Like, I think that it's been ready, but more so now because of the demographics that they're so terrified of.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. They're so scared of us.
Yeah.
Coming over and saying, you know, we can run things. We can run things here.
It was
running things.
I think it was last Christmas. This is what was sad to me. I live in Brooklyn. I'm trying to get pasteles for Christmas because I don't have time to make it, right? I couldn't find any in Brooklyn. One person. And all of Brooklyn. I go,
no.
Yes. My grandmother was in Tampa, right? And, you know, she's elderly. She was the one that always makes it. And I found so many people for pasteles all over Tampa, Florida, like crazy.
Brooklyn, that's where we are now.
No, and that in Celebration. So then I found one girl. She had just came here from the island. And this year I was going because unfortunately my grandmother passed. So I went back to Tampa. I have a home in Tampa too that my father left me. That's where I was raised. And I go back there and the woman is texting me, telling me, I need to put down, like basically extorting me. If I want my pasteles, I need to put down $50 now in order.
For a dozen?
Yes.
50 pesos.
See, yeah.
Damn.
Right, I know. So we're going to have to, next year, we're going to have to start.
When I first met Alex, his mom had a Christmas here at the house and his mother came. And we set up the table and girl,
that's too much work.
I'm done. I did that as a kid and me guayaba todo, you know, the flesh.
I'm
done. And I know there's machines to do that, but I'm not that invested in it.
No, I don't have the time, the patience.
I can't believe you couldn't find them
not in Brooklyn. And the Bronx, yes. New Jersey, yes. Brooklyn,
It's that gentrified. I do
and
this
let me
joke
tell
once.
you, I applied at not one, but two apartments in Bushwick. I'm telling my family, I can't get this. After the pandemic, was downsizing, was rejected, was down, the rent was 3,300. I was looking at places 2,500 and was rejected twice. Luckily, I found where I'm living now. And my credit was
Wow.
good. My landlord currently is an African-American woman. And she told me what the issue is. She goes, basically, they don't want they want to just take on the gringos,
Damn, that's
and
messed
my
up.
family is like, why the hell you want to go to Bushwick? We all left, like, what the hell's wrong with you? You
I-
know, yeah.
That's how I feel. I have, like, I'm from Brooklyn, born and raised, but I
Mhm.
have such a love-hate with it right now that, like when we left for certain reasons.
Right.
Mostly it was because we wanted a house with a pool.
Mhm.
We wanted the big pool. We wanted the quiet. We said, let's check out the suburbs. And I
Right.
have to tell you, I love it out here. I really do. I've gotten used to it. I mean, I'm here 31 years now in the
Wow.
suburbs. Yeah.
Wow.
And I like it. I got used to it. I love pulling into my driveway. I mean, there is something about pulling it. I will never go back. Alternate side.
No, the times when I rent a car, I'm going to Walmart, like excited about going to Walmart. The
You
craziest
got to
thing.
get it all done. You got to get all your car stuff done.
Got it.
But I talk about, even on the show, I say, when I was a kid growing up in Brooklyn was amazing. It was like, it was such it made me who I am. I would never trade that experience. But it was like best die, do or die. And nowadays it's like best die vegan pie because
Best I vegan.
vegan pie, honey. That's what Brooklyn is about now.
Oh
You
yeah.
want to hear what I heard that they're calling Puerto Rico now in certain areas that are
What?
gentrifying?
Uh-huh.
Rich port.
Oh God.
Anglicizing even the name.
I
Yeah, we've been putting up with this for a long time, and hopefully we'll start to see
right.
newer voices writing. We have to get into the writers' rooms. That's the hard
Yes.
part.
Yeah.
Getting into the writers' room so that we can we can have that input. I
Right.
remember a couple of times getting yelled at by my agent because she said, "Oh, I heard you said something to them about the words that they're using." And I'm like, well, because you know what? It's a scene. And it's a scene where they're using language that as a Puerto Rican woman, I would never use.
Right. Right.
Because it's a white writer's room.
Right.
They're not saying it. And what I did was I corrected it so that it looks right. And they were
Oh,
like,
and when I lived in LA, there was so many things messed up. Oh my.
sure. You see it and you're
Yeah,
like,
I saw it. Yeah.
who's writing this again?
Yeah.
Like, why would you represent? Like, I don't remember saying the word. I don't. Can I curse?
Yeah. Yeah. You go right ahead.
Like the word cocksucker.
Yeah.
I know it, but I don't say it. My friends
Right.
say it. That's another word that we don't. It's a word we don't use. And I remember there was some weird combination of cursing, and I was like, we don't
Mhm.
say that.
Yeah.
You have to throw in a puñeta here and there. And make it real, do a carajo here, do something, but not like that. And
Right.
I redid the word. I did it the first time and I said, can I just try something? And I did it differently. And I thought it sounded authentic, bomb. And I didn't get the part. And my agent told me, writers don't want you changing their words. I'm like, well,
Mm.
and I saw the scene, and I got to tell you, it was a great scene because the actress who got it is a magnificent actress. And that's what happens in New York. You go up against the same actresses over and over. You're all trying for the same parts. And I'm sure it happens in LA, but New York, I think, is a smaller pool.
Yeah. Yeah. New York, I've noticed, is a smaller pool of actors versus LA. There's like less. I've seen it's actually more work here in New York than there. LA is.
Interesting.
Yeah. LA is a lot of kissing ass to agents, and then a lot of politics.
Oh my God, I can imagine.
Yeah. But I could say one thing, in Los Angeles, the Mexican community treated me like gold.
Mhm.
But
I believe that completely.
they were wonderful. Like I had a lot of Mexican friends. I kind of do miss all that was over there. It was different. They embraced everything. But Hollywood and LA, I felt was very Now there's some shows, because there's a show that I love called That Fool that's very good. Remind me of LA. But when I was there, I saw a lot of shows that I was like, oh, this isn't even really, they weren't really showing the true Los Angeles, which is predominantly Mexican.
See that? There
Mhm.
you go. There's
Yeah.
how is that relatable?
And
But
let me tell you, all the LAPD, Mexican.
yeah.
All of my daughters, when she went to school, were Mexican teachers. Everybody that works in Los Angeles, predominantly Mexican. You go to the banks, but they don't show that in LA. They show.
And then what about the comedy clubs? Are there a lot of Mexican comedians?
There is some coming up,
Probably.
but there was a mixture.
But never where they'll have 3 Mexicans and 1 white guy.
Mm-mm.
Where we can have 3 white guys and 1 Mexican.
Right.
That usually happens more so than not.
Right.
Where you'll get like the one, I'll be like the one token Latino.
Right. I know the token. I know the
token. And I wish, like, I long for the day when it's like 4 black comics, 3 Latinos, 2 black and one white guy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, not that, look, it's not, we're not the ones that who create these rules, right? It's the powers that be, but we're the ones that have to speak out about it and say, you know, how about just a female? Why am I always the one woman on a show?
Right.
I have 4 guys and 1 woman.
Right.
Okay?
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Sarah. Please
thank you.
Let everybody know where they can follow you, and then also share again your upcoming dates.
Thank you, Mamita. I had a blast, and you are like a marvelous. I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
This is what happens. I start using this accent in LA, and they're like, "Oh, she's from New York." Like, you can't deny it. You can follow me at Latin Diva Comedy on TikTok and Instagram. And my website is Sara Contreras, SaraContreras.com. And you can get access all of my dates on that website. But in February, I know I'm going to be in Englewood, New Jersey on the 3rd. On the 10th, I'm going to be in Allentown. And then I know I have some dates at the comic strip. I have to check. I just got the email today. But so I'll post those on the site. And then in March, I hope to be down in Kissimmee. I haven't gotten the date yet.
Oh,
March,
that's going to be big.
I'm going to be in Chicago further down in the spring. And, you know, as soon as I know the dates and where I'm going to be debuting and putting together this one-woman show, I will let you know. And in May, I am opening for Grupo Nietzsche in Trenton, New Jersey. So back to hosting and, you know, these gigantic arenas. So that was amazing. 9,000 people in my last show. I was like, oh my God, but I did it.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you, Amor. Thank you so much. A new friend.
All right.